Now, am I inclined to believe one single word of this apology? Absolutely not. And I'll tell you why, because I may sound a little harsh here. But in order for her to have the position of Chief Diversity Officer, she has to believe in that definition of privilege, of white privilege, of
Facts.
able-bodied privilege,
Facts.
of English-speaking privilege.
Facts.
Her position at Johns Hopkins Medicine, outside of her being a doctor, does not exist without that definition of privilege. And I'm sure Sharita Golden is going to go on to keep that Chief Diversity Officer position. She's going to continue to work to diversify the Office of Diversity, Inclusion, and Health Equity at Johns Hopkins Medicine. So do you believe that she, in fact, is walking back on that definition of privilege that she outlined in the newsletter? Probably not.
It is
She's
fake.
not sorry
It
about
is
the privilege
fake.
that she defined in
Not
that newsletter.
sincere.
She is sorry that that privilege definition was then
Sorry that
shared
she
on the
got
internet
caught.
for her to receive backlash. Johns Hopkins has a long history of being woke and giving into things like DEI, and I think that that's going to continue. Mind you, Johns Hopkins University not. She's not sorry. Her, Sharita Golden is going to go on to keep that Chief Diversity Officer position. She's going to continue to work to diversify
That would be
Office
crazy
of Diversity, Inclusion, and Health Equity at
if
Johns
she
Hopkins
does not
Medicine.
get
So do you believe that she, in fact, is walking back on that definition of privilege that she outlined in the newsletter? Probably not. She's not sorry about the privilege that she defined in that
if
newsletter.
she does not get let go. That would be
To
crazy.
continue to work to diversify
That would
the
be
Office
crazy.
of Diversity, Inclusion, and Health Equity at Johns Hopkins Medicine. So do you believe that she, in fact, is walking back on that definition of privilege that she outlined in the newsletter?
Nah.
Probably not. She's not sorry about the privilege that she defined in that newsletter. She is sorry that that privilege definition was then shared on the internet for her to receive backlash. Johns Hopkins has a long history of being woke and giving into things like DEI, and I think that that's going to continue. Mind you, Johns Hopkins University not too long ago ended up changing the definition of lesbian. The new definition, a non-man attracted to non-men.
Yep.
That is not woke garbage.
Crazy.
I don't know what is. The force that is pushing these changes is leftism, and foundational to leftism
Wokeness.
is a belief in inherent unearned privilege. That will never change so long as it exists. So while we may have gotten an apology for this miscommunication, it is most definitely not sincere. What's kind of funny, but actually, I guess more sad than funny, is that newsletters like this are coming out of an institution named after the man Johns Hopkins, who was a very famous and well-known abolitionist and philanthropist. I'd like to think that Johns Hopkins would still have his logic intact if he were still around to be witnessing this, and that he would not be in support of something like DEI and this newsletter being sent out in an institution named after him. And Sharita Hill Golden in the newsletter decides to invoke the name Martin Luther King Jr. She says, "We look forward to working with you this year in the spirit of Dr. King and others to achieve our equity and inclusion goals." What's interesting is that I remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saying that we should judge people based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. So it's funny that you have a list that starts with white people when it comes to who has privilege. Somebody was not listening during the I Have a Dream speech. If there's one thing that's a silver lining here, it's that the release of this newsletter generated enough backlash that Sharita Hill Golden had to apologize for what she said. Whether or not that apology is genuine, it is good to see a system of accountability being set in place for people who are sharing these bad ideas. What I like more than some unfounded apology is the disillusion of all diversity, equity, and inclusion offices. The very basis for their creation is ridiculous and unsupported by facts or logic, but I digress. We live in the time we live in, and I think DEI offices are going to continue to be created. And while that's not the case, we should take it upon ourselves to call this nonsense out to every the equity and inclusion offices. The very basis for their creation is ridiculous and unsupported by facts or logic, but I digress. We live in the time we live in, and I think DEI offices are going to continue to be created. And while that's still the case, we should take it upon ourselves to call this nonsense out every time we get the opportunity, which I'm sure there will be plenty more of. But those are just my thoughts, guys. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this DEI stuff is whack, trash. Bro. Yeah. Yeah, the wokies, man, they prioritize wokeness over skill, talent, meritocracy, meritoriousness. Um, they it, it is crazy, man. That wokeness, yo, the prioritization of wokeness can lead to bad outcomes, bad things. People, you gotta, bro. People, they gotta cease the wokeness, but not everybody that is woke will cease the wokeness. That is terrible, man. They don't. They they believe deludedly that deludedly that it is racist to not hire somebody um, that that does not have the skills, the skill, the talent, the the ability, the skill, the talent, the the merit. That's crazy, bro. Race should not be relevant. Race should not be relevant. Color should not be relevant. Relevant. Merit should be relevant. That is it. That is all, bro. Merit. Do you have the ability, bro? F the race, F the color, bro. F the color. F the color, F the race, F the sexuality, bro. F F the gender, F the sex, F the gender. Can you um are you skilled? That is what matters. That is what matters. That is what matters. Not the race. People gotta the priorities, bro. They gotta be yo. People gotta worry about the right stuff, man. Not the woke garbage, bro. Don't prioritize that over skill, ability, bro. Do not do it because it will cause bad stuff to happen, bro. To occur. It to occur. It will cause bad stuff to occur. It is what it is, man. That is the reality. You cannot dispute that. Let me know what y'all think. Um, yeah, man. Shout out to Amala. Yo, she's based. She is logical. We need more logical people in on Earth, bro. We do.